Hello, Joel. Thank you for coming here and
Hello.
to this interview. First, I want to ask you, what is the field of your bachelor thesis about?
Yes, well, my bachelor thesis is trying to combine like three different fields or topics, which are the mathematics of complexity, that is like the fundamental understanding of complex systems using mathematical tools. Then also computational simulations, that is like the use of this kind of computer-based models in order to understand this complexity from a more practical perspective. And then finally, artificial intelligence, which is like we're focusing specifically on deep learning and inside deep learning on the paradigms of supervised learning and reinforcement learning. All these should be combined in order to develop a solution applied to cancer.
Okay, so just in a single sentence on how is your bachelor thesis, like what is your bachelor thesis about?
Yeah, well, I want to develop like an initial version of a system that acts like a kind of compass, a navigator mechanism that will aid like clinicians when dealing with the complex and the huge like search space associated to the therapy or treatment process in cancer. This will be like the main idea of the project.
Okay, very interesting.
Thank
And
you.
if we could explain, like, use three words to describe the future and the potential of your work.
Well, yes, I think this is a project that requires like a lot of research and a lot of time of research. So I don't expect like to complete it just in the period I'm like developing the bachelor thesis. As I was telling, this bachelor thesis is going to be like a seed version, like an initial iteration of the system per se. So basically, the idea I have will be like to continue the development of this project in the future with new techniques and more knowledge in the field. So basically, you can finally reach this minimal version that will be applied into the clinics.
What is the aspect that you find the most appealing about your choice?
Well, I think that history has demonstrated how humankind can do wonderful things using technology. Humankind has been able to solve very complicated problems that at the first time they seem it like unsolvable. So basically, I think that this should be applied to the kind of problems that are like making people suffering the most and killing the most people, which are, for example, complex diseases. I think that this type of projects, if they are applied, developed, and they are like deployed on the clinics, they may allow clinicians to save patients that are not going to be saved today. So that is for me like the most appealing aspect of this bachelor thesis, like trying to contribute to this collective effort of humankind of using engineering to create a better world in which people can live longer and better.
And if you had to say what is your fear or your most prominent limitation about your thesis?
Yeah, well, I think like as we were like discussing, this kind of project I think has like a lot of limitations and problems in the sense that it is a very complicated system that requires a considerable development of in different technologies that may be unrelated, and each of them is like complicated per se. So basically, I think that one of the most important problems in the development of this kind of projects is basically the lack of resources and the lack of time. Because if you have infinite time and resources, you can plan some strategy in order to develop the different branches of the mechanism properly. But in my case, I have not this kind of environment. We are like limited by the amount of time for the development of the project, and we like few computational resources and practical resources. So basically, I think one of my fears is like being able to select what are the specific parts of the project that should be developed in order to achieve this minimal viable system that I want to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
very
you
much for this
for your attention.
brief explanation. Very interesting. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.